I would fly to South America for a weekend just to hang out in Lima. It's my favorite city in all of Central and South America. We love Lima so much that we went back 3 times during our week in Peru. Lima has gorgeous coasts, manicured parks, great bike lanes, cute cafes, quirky neighborhoods, gleaming skyscrapers with 4- and 5-star resorts, art, cool nightlife, great accommodation, fantastic shopping, fascinating museums, and killer cuisine. Lima is a gastronomical paradise. Let us explain how to have a kick-ass time in Lima. Vamos! Check out the eclectic streets, parks, markets, and art of Lima's hippest, most romantic, and bohemian neighborhood. And we're staying in the Barranco neighborhood, which is a really wealthy neighborhood outside of the historical city center of Lima. We recommend breakfast at the Secret Garden Cafe. Had a pretty fancy brunch in a wealthy neighborhood in a secret garden, kind of a bougie hipster cafe, and that was $8.50 per person in dollars, 70 soles.
And these are like high quality shakes that you would pay probably $10 by itself.
Freshly squeezed orange juice or passion fruit blended together. They'd have a kind of smoothie type shakes or acai bowls or acai. Just a lot of really healthy food and fresh fruit for a reasonable price. Barranco is the home and working place of many of Peru's leading artists, musicians, designers, and photographers.
There's a lot of unique streets and unique buildings throughout the whole entire city here, so I'm excited about tomorrow and seeing what else there is out there.
The neighborhood has colorful street art, tucked away bars, cute coffee shops, tasty cuisine, historic mansions, museums, an incredible shoreline, and a vibrant cultural scene. It's kind of like the Soho of Lima. Hold your breath and make a wish while you walk across the Bridge of Sighs. As you wander through the neighborhood, make sure to look at all the colorful murals. They are constantly changing. Imaginative, highly skilled graffiti creations. Our third recommendation for this neighborhood is Ayahuasca Resto Bar Lounge.
We're going to a restaurant tonight, supposedly one of the top restaurants in
this neighborhood,
so.
Barranco. It's got a name, we'll put it up in the graphics for you, but I know I'm going to butcher it, Ayahuasca or something. It's a converted mansion that has historical value, and they've got an amazing bar and pisco sours, and they'll make ceviche, so we'll let you know how that goes. We're about to go there. Right now, let's go. Okay, so this gastro bar totally transforms at night and becomes the place where the party is at. Due to copyright issues, I can't play you the really cool hip music that was playing that night in the background, but this was definitely a happening spot with dramatic accent lighting and beautiful garden terraces and unusual decor inside. The place is huge, and each dining space feels separate and unique, so you've got a lot of options. It's actually a 19th century Bernese mansion. The restaurant has a 4.6 out of 5 rating on TripAdvisor and Google and is moderately pricey by some people's standards. It's famous for its cocktails, which run about $8 to $10. The most popular cocktail is the Pisco Sour. Rumor has it that Pisco came about because the Peruvians could outproduce the Spanish because of their climate, and the Spanish did not want to compete with the Peruvian wine, so the Peruvians had to figure out what to do with all those grapes. This is Pisco Sour, and it's made with grapes and egg, but don't confuse it with wine because it's 40% alcohol by volume, so you should be very careful with these. That's why we're splitting one, because when I have these by myself, I tend to disrobe. All right, a probar. It's really good. We're at Ayahuasca. It's like a gastro bar. It's like a converted mansion that they've turned into a restaurant and bar. They specialize in liquors, like cocktails, mixed drinks, and they're supposed to have pretty good ceviche. So we've ordered a ceviche, which is a typical Peruvian dish, and octopus. So we'll let you know how it is. The pulpo smells amazing. The ceviche was incredible. This part tastes like a sweet carrot and potato combined into one. The ceviche is really citrusy. I don't really like the city center as much. It doesn't really have a historical core. The best you're gonna get is Plaza de Armas. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Plaza itself, Plaza de Armas, which is kind of the heart and soul, the center of Lima, is very big. It's said to be the birthplace of Lima. It's surrounded by the government palace, Lima Metropolitan Cathedral, Archbishop's Palace of Lima, the Municipal Palace, and the Palacio de la Unión. There's a couple of interesting places around the plaza that I recommend. We went into the San Francisco Convent and cloisters. They have a library. We had about a 45-minute tour. That was really amazing and unexpected and very affordable. It was only 15 solares per person. Then we wandered around and accidentally wandered into a petting zoo in the middle of a park that seemed to be kind of straddling between the city and a highway, overlooking what looked like to be a favela that was very colorful, coming out of these rocky mountains that were absolutely not green at all. They sort of looked like giant dirt mounds. It's a really interesting area. It seemed to have train tracks too. So there's a little long strip that was kind of just an oasis with a big cage for birds that they might have been rehabilitating, and we saw what we think are llamas. We don't know the difference between llamas and alpacas. Yeah. And goats and all sorts of birds, maybe guinea fowl and peacocks and pigeons and these other types of birds that look like sparrows but they aren't. And we got to feed and pet them. That was kind of a pleasant surprise. Yeah. We had no idea. Okay, moving on to Miraflores, which is an upscale suburb of Lima. If you want to go shopping, Larcomar is a pretty good place to do it. It looks brand new and it's beautiful. The shopping center is located at the top of the cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean in Miraflores. Larcomar Mall is probably the most exclusive mall in Lima and won the award for innovation in construction design, awarded by the International Council of Shopping Centers. It has about 160 shops and boutiques, which offer a wide variety of products for high-end customers and tourists. It's got clothing, shoes, accessories, sporting goods, and jewelry, and even Peruvian arts and crafts. It even has a large cinema, theater, bowling alley, arcade, and banks. So even if you're not interested in shopping, there's a lot of bars and nightclubs, or you can even enjoy a great meal at one of the several restaurants with breathtaking views of the coast. You actually got to run along the coast this morning.
Yeah, so the coast is definitely by far probably the best coast I've ever run. Next to, well, we'll run. We're talking about running. So California has an amazing coast. But this coast is absolutely stunning the whole way. I mean, it's got a huge drops, and then you have mountains in the background, and you can run for a very long time. Actually, I ran and jumped in a race, just was running. I didn't actually jump in and run in the race, but I was doing the same direction. But everything was amazing. So the views are spectacular, and I'm looking forward to getting a bike ride and checking that out more.
The coast by bike is incredible, but getting a bike was more difficult than we expected.
Gorgeous.
There are publicly available bikes to rent that are parked in bike racks all over the city, but paying for them is difficult. There's either a credit card machine that doesn't work, or a mobile app, or a website that's hard to navigate in English and Spanish. I think it's mostly in Spanish. After several failed attempts, we went to several bike shops. No bike shops could rent a bike to us. And so we finally went back and were able to figure out a way to pay for the rental bikes that the city provides. It was very difficult, but it was well worth it. After a long bike ride along the Malecón, consider eating a healthy lunch at Raw Café.
This cafe in Miraflores serves healthy plant-based food and has a cute decor and kind of a young professionals vibe. It describes itself as a place for conscientious eating. It's a great place for vegans and those with celiac disease. We're not vegan or vegetarian or allergic to gluten, but we were able to find plenty of delicious items on the menu that we enjoyed. In fact, I got the full energy meal featured on that advertisement that you're seeing for 39 soles, which is $10 to $11 depending on where the exchange rate is when you're going. So it might be a little pricey by some people's standards, but we thought it was inexpensive. High quality smoothies with several ingredients only cost $4.
Do you know we're at Raw Café?
In Miraflores neighborhood?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a great meal, and then we're probably gonna head off to a museum.
It's Museo Larco and the
Pueblo Libre district of Lima. The area surrounding the museum is very pretty too. We recommend you tour Museo Larco and have dinner on their garden terrace. Museo Larco is a breathtakingly beautiful, privately owned museum of perfectly preserved pre-Columbian art. The museum is housed in an 18th century viceroyal building and showcases chronological galleries of more than 5,000 years of Peruvian pre-Columbian history. The size of the collection is so astronomically large with so many pristine pieces that we joke that the exhibits weren't real, but rather fabricated in factories owned by the founder, Rafael Lorco Heil, in a bid to become wealthy and famous. I've just never seen a collection this size on such a narrow demographic and window of history that was this old and this well preserved. It was unbelievable. Museo Larco deserves its own video, so stay tuned for that.